Hello and welcome to the studio. Today I'm working on a Paul Sumner song, and there's been a request that I should do more of these like walkthroughs of tracks and how I piece them together or take them apart. And this track I started off by showing you how I used the lo-fi loop junkie, this new ZVEX pedal that I've been using. And but the way I'm doing that is that the idea is to first have the scratchy small track, the lo-fi loop junkie version of it. But it's really difficult to go from a really EQ'd small scratchy version of a track and then into the full song without the full song sounding flat and boring. So you can there's many different ways of bridging that. You can either do the transition very obvious for the listener, make a big like a cymbal sweep or a grand casserole or reversed something that goes and then you're into the big room. One way of doing it is adding pieces of the real sound without the listener really noticing what's going on. And the way I did that on this track is that I used I take out all the overdubs so you don't hear them in advance. What I did was that I took the full track and I put it through the AKG reverb. So that becomes like a shadow of the original track, and then you put the lo-fi loop junkie version up like this. And then smoothing. The idea is that you just fade up the real version. And when it lands on that chord, I don't know how much you can actually hear of this where it's totally distorted, but it becomes slightly chorusy and weird, and then it lands on the chord, and it works really nice. So, and why I did this was because there's a reprise. It goes 2 times as far as I know, pretty much the same. And what I want to do is I want to be able to have it going twice exactly the same without adding anything, but like almost, if it was a film, it would be like a still photo that slowly came to life in a way. I want it to be black and white and fairly mono-ish, and then it goes into the stereo thing. Alright, the next section is where it comes to life musically. And this section I felt that it needed a bit of a push or a lead-in. I want to take the listener, and the way I did this was by having a brighter sound that gets the listener's attention and leads it forward. And also I wanted a sound that didn't go, you don't want a sound that just goes like ping, because then you go like ooh, but I want it to invite the listener to the next section. And I did that by recording, double tracking two cymbals played with mallets, and it sounds like this. That also invites and ties into the tambourine part, because the tambourine part is the first time there's such a bright sound in the production. So you have those, and then I recorded cluster chimes with R&D, or pin chimes there. These really bright, pingy things that sound something like this. And they go, I don't know if you can hear it. Anyway, what they do is it's more subliminal, and they're not supposed to be very loud at all, but just like give that a little sparkle. Then what I felt was that the melody goes, I think, 4 times, and what I wanted, what I felt the section needed was just like little lead notes and little notes that would push the melody forward. So I recorded a little thing on a glockenspiel. And it goes back and forwards like that. Anyways, so, but it was really important to me that I wanted it to be within this world, within the whole texture of it. So I took that and pulled that through the AKG reverb, which I like and use a lot, so I'm sorry if I'm just going on and on about it, but I'm using it on everything, and pretty much as an instrument. So if you listen to it now, here you go with the reverb. And you can hear the... And the idea of that is that I want the... almost like you can hear the back setting, because as I'm not playing with Paul in England, and I'm not in that studio, I need to tie all the sounds together and make them gel. And just by putting them all in the same reverb, we create a artificial room where this song takes place. Then I felt that the glockenspiel felt a bit toyish and a bit naive, so I double-tracked that with a auto harp, and that sounds like this. And they're not perfectly tight, but I didn't feel that it was necessary either, so... And I put that through the reverb as well. And then you get... And I did some experiments with echoes and delays to try to get almost a marxophone feel. But it really sounded horrible. It sounded like crap, so I took that out. The next sound I wanted to do was to do a kind of a canvasy thing. I wanted to have like a background for that end section. So what I did was that I used this and the Telecaster and just played. Listen. Oh, are we there yet? And I recorded that into the Lo-Fi Loop Junkie, which is here, like that. I've talked about it previously. But what you do with it is, or what I do with it is that I recorded a loop. So now I'm going to record the loop, or a loop. And play it back. And that's nice. And you've got that slight tapey wobbliness to it. But the really interesting thing, or one of the many interesting things, is that if I now play the guitar over that same loop, it will amplify the wobbliness. And here we go. Ah, I fucked up. Here we go. I'm making a new loop. There we go. Because when I'm playing along with it in real time on top of the slightly wobbly one, you get a really emphasized chorusy effect. And the idea of not playing like in time with the music is because I don't want it to feel like a guitar playing along. I want it to have much more of an ambient kind of a feel. So this is how it turned out. how could I possibly make this sound even more? Well, that's fairly simple. You add another one. And so here's number 2, like that. Put the song in there. And all of a sudden you've got like a droney ambient thing behind there. It's not necessary. You don't have to be able to hear it. You don't have to go, the lo-fi loop junkie and a Telecaster. It's not about that at all. It's about just having those notes behind there. And probably a bit like the smoke that comes out of trains in these big farewell scenes in these movies. That's what this is. And then to get like a higher pitch or get some clouds in there, I added some can opener guitar that sounds like this. Which is just like me scratching the strings more or less. You can do it with a slide or whatever you want. And and those together with the lo-fi loop junkie. So I've created a kind of a really nice ambient thing there. Then also I added 2 channels of this Bontempi organ that's down here, like that, to get even more droniness in there, and the sound sounds like this. And what you can do with the drones, and what makes them interesting, is that now all of a sudden you can start playing them like an EQ, because the organ is fairly upper register. You've got the really high can opener guitar, and then you've got the lo-fi loop junkie stuff going on. So then to like finish it all off, what is that? Sorry. To finish it all off, I recorded some vinyl crackles, and why I did that was to get more authenticity to the lo-fi loop junkie at the beginning. So it sounds. But I did a final touch at the end, and that was to record a G note on the Moog Taurus pedals. And why I did that was that if you've listened to my productions, a lot of the times when the song, there's a final hit, and the song is over, and then there's probably a sound going on afterwards. And what I do is that I often put in sounds there that aren't in the song previously, but something that gives you a color that I feel add to the story. So by adding the Taurus pedals at something that you get the feeling that they were probably the Moog bass was there all the time, but it also sets the stage for the next song. So if you want to tie the album together, it could be a good idea. So there you go. That's the run-through of Paul Sumner's Morning, the Milkman's Morning. There you go. Hope you enjoyed it. See you very soon.